Nathan, ye have done it unto me. And I wanted to talk about materials and pressure points and being able to sleep halfway decently without your head feeling like it's going to blow up. But I would say that, let me start with my pillow. So my pillow, I try to use like cotton and stuff like that. I'm actually in my mom's kind of like a guest room here, but this pillow, what I notice is when I'm pressing down, when my head's here and I'm pressing down against the pillow, they're going to come through the least resistance. They're going to come through the point of least resistance, so that's going to be the point where my head is closest to the other side of the pillow, obviously. And the bed, obviously, is probably metal springs and stuff like that. So I sleep anywhere I can that's different. Again, the word here is dynamic. Sleep on the floor with a futon, on the floor with a sleeping bag or something like that. But if you do on a bed like this, and I've already talked about my ice chest idea, but what I do sometimes is I put a sheet, or I just sleep without the pillow, because sometimes they get used to the pillow and they can get through it pretty fast. But I'll use a sheet, and I admit sometimes I'll wake up with some lines on my face, but I tell you it's worth it if it's a nice cotton sheet. And if it's a nice cotton sheet that is not necessarily from Walmart, or maybe it is from Walmart, but the reason why I mentioned Walmart is, and let's see, Hillary Clinton was on the board of directors of Walmart, but that's a whole other thing. United Nations and all of these corporations, they all have a connection, and the connection is that they have a list. They have listings of all their products, UPC codes, and all these codes and regulations about their materials. So this, for example, this lampshade. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe the lampshade is made with certain materials XYZ, and it has this much of those materials. If the perps know this, then they can zap right through it. This is my opinion, of course. I don't know this. I can't. I'm not very physically or mathematically minded, but it seems to me that that is the case, because last night I heard my perps in my brain-to-brain communication. I heard my perpetrator say about this particular ice chest. What ice chest is he using? What is that ice chest? What brand name is it? I actually heard that, and so that indicates to me that they want that information. The more information they have about what you are using to dissipate the energy, to stay dynamic, to stay one step ahead of them, the more information they have, the worse off it's going to be for you. But coming back to this, I also, of course, use my Levis, and I swear by these things. I can, if my hand's getting zapped, I can just put my hand in this, and you'll just notice immediate relief. It's because I think because of the way that the cotton is mended together and stuff like that. Unless United Nations busts down the corporation and says, hey, we need to know exactly what your micrometer, what your patterns are and stuff like that, and then of course they type that into all of their systems, and then the perpetrators can have that access to that information. So that, I think this lesson is about materials, and also pressure points. If I sleep with my elbow on the bed, or my knees on the bed, your knees and your elbows are going to be points which after a few years you'll start to notice, as I have over these 9 years, is that they're starting to get dried up and worn out. And the whole thing about this zapping us is to get rid of our water. And in my opinion, again, my personal opinion, I can't say professional, but it's really kind of like premature aging, and it's trying to break us down. I guess some people call it soft kill. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I can tell you that my grandfather passed, and he had some kind of hole in one part of his stomach or something like that, and my grandmother has a hole in her heart and stuff like that. I'm not saying that they're burning holes through us, but actually, the video got cut off again. My phone has about 500 megabytes left on it, so I'm working with 500 megabytes. Anyway, I was saying that I didn't know if the lasers actually, I'm going to say that I think the lasers may be able to poke holes in us, to burn holes in us. The reason I say that is, yeah, first I say I don't think they do, but now I'm saying that they possibly do. But the actual explanation is I don't really know. But I can say this much: when I close my eyes really tight, I can see, like in the nighttime especially, or if I press my hands against them, I can see little dots and stuff like that. And those could be where they're zapping me. I'm not sure, but I'll just leave that for you guys to determine, especially you science people out there, if they're doing that. I can say that when I put aluminum foil up on any windows of my other places, apartments, or wherever I was, there will be little tiny holes, and you'll notice these little holes, and you'll be like, wait a minute, are there aluminum bugs that are eating through our aluminum? And in fact, sometimes I would hear things that sounded like bugs, like zzz, zzz, zzz. And in fact, I'm pretty dang sure that was the laser actually them amping up, amplifying their signal so that they can cut little holes through, and so that they'll still have that access to your mind or your body and stuff like that. It's pretty sick, actually. It's pretty sad. So that's I want to say about that. And then the last thing I want to say in this video is keep your feet covered, your feet and your toes. As the years go on, they like to access, it seems like, because at first it started with the twitching, but that's kind of gone away until they access you. And right when they access you, and even when they pass by you on the street, especially when I'm driving by another car and they point at you, you can feel a zap in your ankle or in your foot or in your toe. So keep them covered, especially with the sheet. Keep them covered. Keep your feet covered with sheets, and you will be happy because, yeah, they access you. I think I've noticed, like, when they're messing with my head or my genitals or whatever, they'll go through my feet or something like that. It's real strange. So yeah, I have a lot to talk about that. I think we'll just go one step at a time here. But thanks for listening.